never seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave coming at you live from Germany for your Dead on Dave Live viewer questions for today, February 20th. Monday, February 20th, 2017. Now, why did I say the date today, which I never do? I think this is the first time in 2.5 years I've ever started with the date. Well, I just want to make sure that people realize that it is February 20th, 2017. We are barely starting this new year. This new year hasn't even gotten a full-on boner, and yet there are already stories that are driving us to the point of madness. There are stories that are so overplayed. It's like the 90s with Livin' La Vida Loca. If I've got to hear more things about PewDiePie being a Nazi, and even though Jacksepticeye only happened a few days ago, if I got to keep hearing things about Jacksepticeye being a buddy fucker and all these things, which we'll talk about because we haven't talked about it live on the air yet, or if I've got to listen to one more ragged moment of Tana Mongeau trying to fucking talk and understand what human emotions are, I might kill myself. So what I thought we would do is, in a great way, come on one more time, hopefully, because I am a whore, and if something big happens with any of these three, believe me, I will talk about it. If it makes sense, if it's interesting, we're gonna fucking talk about it. If it gets my nipples hard, we'll certainly be talking about it. But these stories, these three in particular, it's time to put them to bed as much as we can. So for everything that we know, we're going to throw it into this, and we're going to start with PewDiePie versus top of the morning to you, Jacksepticeye. All right, everybody knows I'm talking about this right now because of what's happened over the last couple of days. Apparently, this is really just as simple how it broke down. Jacksepticeye did a stream where he was basically, looked like he was answering questions that people were supposedly asking him, whatever, and he was basically fielding all of these things about PewDiePie and the entire situation. The whole video didn't really seem to make sense of why to do it in the first place. And then you take into consideration everything that he has with a history of PewDiePie, with PewDiePie. Without PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye doesn't become Jacksepticeye. 3 years ago, I think it's well documented by now, PewDiePie gave Jacksepticeye the biggest shout out in the history of YouTube. And without it, Jack doesn't become Jack. Jack is friggin' YouTube royalty. He's one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet, and a big reason of that is due to his relationship with PewDiePie. That is not a disservice to Jacksepticeye. It's simply a stating of facts. Now, that doesn't always mean that you should just stand by your man and let anything bad that he's doing happen and all that stuff, which would be appropriate here if PewDiePie actually did anything to warrant some of the comments that have been said about him over the last couple of weeks. But that's not what happened. You see, Jack seemed to try and talk about the jokes that PewDiePie made, and that almost being the reason why it was acceptable for the Wall Street Journal and others to label him as a Nazi. Not his exact words, but that is what the intimation is really being connected here. The problem with it being is nobody is talking about anything about the jokes that PewDiePie made. Of course the jokes were stupid. Everybody knows that the jokes were stupid. PewDiePie himself has said the jokes are stupid. By the way, Bevan donated $5. Do you reckon it hurts when Jacksepticeye puts his mic in PewDiePie's mixing board slot? Yeah, probably. Probably. We'll talk about that in a moment too. Thank you for your donation, Bevan. Appreciate that. Good stuff. This is not about jokes. None of the situation really is truly about jokes. It really, or at least it shouldn't be. The situation is about the ability of a mainstream media, or anybody for that matter, to take something completely out of context and try to ruin somebody's life by directly affiliating them with a Nazi, extremist, terrorist, whatever group with the goal of ruining them, with the goal of getting them removed from a platform. That is wrong, and it only happened to PewDiePie because of his size. It has nothing to do with his content. It has nothing to do with the jokes, because we all know that people within the Maker Studio world, Jacksepticeye being one of them, has made very similar jokes in the past with PewDiePie, which has now been revealed, yet Jacksepticeye doesn't get touched. Why? 4 or 5 times smaller than PewDiePie, 3 to 4 times smaller than PewDiePie. iDubbbz, also with Maker Studio, started one of the most offensive sounding, of course it doesn't get taken as such, one of the most offensive sounding memes that we've seen in the last 2 years. He coined nigger faggot. What the fuck? And yet, nothing. Why? Because he is 13 times smaller than PewDiePie. PewDiePie is a victim of his own success, and most of the time, I am completely on the suck it up buttercup bandwagon, and most of the time I think that's completely acceptable. You're going to be a target, but not when it is completely insane to the lengths of which an entity is going. And that is what Jacksepticeye seemed to not get. That's his friend. That's his friend, and he failed to support his friend really when PewDiePie needed it the most. PewDiePie went and got very emotional in his almost perfect response video, his defense video, whatever you want to call it, about all the support that he got from the YouTube community, because many of us have very come out and supported the Pewds. But shouldn't have Jacksepticeye been like right there, piggybacking a video, doing something to kind of just lend support? That's his friend. That's his good friend. He was openly tied into season 2 of the show that got canceled. Scare PewDiePie, by his own admission. Talked about how it affected him. And that seemed to be the only thing that he didn't seem to get upset over the fact or go after the Wall Street Journal or anybody else for going after PewDiePie, but he certainly lamented it. You could tell that he was not happy about the fact that he was losing that. But even that, the self-preservation side, didn't seem enough to spark that loyalty, stand by your buddy, whatever the case may be, to simply come out and support in a situation that clearly warranted it. Now, Jacksepticeye, of course, has walked most of this back by this point, but even his apology didn't make a lot of sense. He talked about being naive to the facts or naive to the situation. What about being naive to loyalty? Simple, basic principles of loyalty. You know, Tommy said this on his show, Tommy C, of course. My best friend in the world. I love Tommy C. I've known him for almost 10 years. We served in the military together. We've been podcasting together for 5 years. Started Shopping the Point together. We've worked on multiple projects together. We've also had fights, which you would not believe. Fights so bad where we've actually taken a break from each other for an entire fucking year. True story. But we never, ever tried to ruin each other. We would never try to ruin each other. And if something were ever said about the other that was factually wrong, we would be the first ones to defend. Look at the situation with Keemstar and Tommy, for example. Even with all of the water that is under the bridge between those two, every time that Keem gets called out for something that doesn't apply, Tommy will be like, well, I got to give him credit where credit's due, because it's the right thing to do. That is what, and they're not even friends. Now, take into consideration that Septiceye and PewDiePie are friends, and they rhyme beautifully. Does it really make any sense? Does any of the situation make sense? What was Jacksepticeye trying to accomplish? It makes me wonder, it makes me think about maybe there was something else that we don't know. I questioned from the very beginning the entire timing of all of this, because everything that was being cited about PewDiePie is months old, weeks old, and most of it, including the Fiverr Funny Guy situation, was long buried and figured out by the time the Wall Street Journal ran their story. So why? Why go to Disney? Why go to YouTube? Then, after everything was taken care of, after PewDiePie had already gone and gotten the Five Are Funny guys reinstated, gotten Jesus reinstated, why then? It made me think maybe there was something else going on. Maybe there was a scandal that was about to hit about PewDiePie that nobody really knew. Maybe Jacksepticeye knew. Maybe there's something else happening behind the scenes that nobody really is aware of yet. Because that would make a hell of a lot more sense than just making a video for fucking no reason and burying your boy. And I know a lot of people are coming to the defense of Jacksepticeye at this point and being like, okay, he apologized. Yeah, he did. That doesn't mean that you can't criticize or talk about the rationale to begin with. That doesn't mean that everything is just completely forgotten. The transgression matters. And me being a military guy, I was in the Army for 9 years with Tommy C, as I said, buddy fucking, as we like to call it in the Army, that's a high offense. That's big on the orders, man. You don't buddy fuck. You don't screw your friend over. You don't leave him on an island. You don't do it. It's wrong. So, I don't know. It really is a completely weird situation, but it is what it is at the end of the day, and there's nothing you can do about it. People are going to believe what they're going to believe, and they're going to do what they're going to do. As cliche as that all sounds, it really is true. The wheel's going to keep on fucking turning. Jacksepticeye is going to keep being Jacksepticeye. He's going to walk stuff back, and people who are going to support him are going to continue to support him, and we're seeing that within the community. PewDiePie, all of the amazing support that he has gotten, there's still a lot of radio silence. Makes you wonder why. I don't know. So that's my opening thoughts on all of that. And really, hopefully, this will be the last time we have to really talk about this situation. Unless these two fight fisticuff style, I don't know if I want to talk about it anymore. We'll see if more things happen and more things come out. But I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop because I think there's something else here. I just don't know what yet. Before we move on to the other exhausting 2017 story, I want to give you guys a big shout out for being here right now. 116 of you watching live, and I appreciate every goddamn one of you. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you've yet to do so. Subscribe to the channel. Support in any way you want. You can donate. You can donate through the chat, through Super Chat, or you can go right through the link below in the description box and donate that way as well. So there you go. Big shout out to Jordan Bryce, Poxy's Fake Ass Twat, Hannah Ellery, The Gaming Fault is here, Platoon is here, Melissa Vasian? Yeah. Carl Gibney, the Blue Mustang guy, Seaman is here, Alexander O'Brien says, Jack is a good guy. He didn't mean to ruin Felix. I have a feeling Felix knew Jack was going to say that, and it was an inside job. 9/11, get your goddamn fucking helmets on. Tinfoil Dick. Jacob Anderson's here. So is Winky's World. Dank Dreams. Mr. H. All kinds of good people, man. So it's pretty cool stuff, man. He says, how are the YouTube audience so fish-minded? Don't forget Keemstar's past. Now his sucking PewDiePie's dick. Everybody in the YouTube community is sucking Keemstar's dick. No, I don't think everybody is sucking Keemstar's dick. In fact, as much as I do think that Keemstar is done, look, Keemstar, just because he's got a pass doesn't mean that Keemstar isn't a valuable asset to a situation, especially one like this that affects us all. This is a free speech issue. This is a possible censorship issue. Now, where I think Keemstar has gone a little bit batty and batshit is the fact, like him going, the old media, the old ways has no business in our ways. Well, of course they do. Anybody does. There are people that are crossover platforms, people who are watching 60 Minutes and reading the Wall Street Journal, who are watching these very videos. It's a crossover platform. Besides, corporations are already very much involved in YouTube. You guys have watched ads during the course of this video, hopefully. You haven't turned on your ad blockers, you cunts. And you know, advertising is a big part of it. That's corporations. That's a crossover right there. So no, I don't think just because it's our community that means that nobody else can have a say. Now, as far as his other point that he's made, the policing of our own, we've already shown an inability to be able to do that. We're not good at it. We call each other out. We try to destroy each other over petty fucking reasons No, I don't know if we should police each other, but I don't necessarily think that we need somebody to police us either. I think there's a checks and balance, man. Just like with everything, there is a balance that needs to be struck. If something happens with like the Wall Street Journal calling out a YouTuber under a false premise, then everybody should rally around that YouTuber, just like it happened. That's exactly what should happen. So Keem is doing some good. He's doing the God's work, but he's also kind of running the wrong narrative as well. But it is what it is. Not a big deal. Real Talk Metaphor Messiah is here as well, man. Look at him. He's in the chat hanging out. He does the music for this channel. He does Morning Light, the official theme song of Dead on Day Productions. And also Thursday, he's got a brand new music video dropping. It's an in-studio edition of Black Mozart. He'll be here later on in the week to talk about that experience when it drops. Woo! Donated $20. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Woo, good stuff. That money. Yeah, much appreciated. So Real Talk's got that amazing new studio video coming out. It's going to be amazing for Black Mozart. You got to check it out. Check him out. Real Talk Metaphor Messiah. Go look him up. He's great. Go check him out. We're going to also be taking your guys' calls, questions, comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, quips, quotes right on Discord. If you want to talk on Discord, get up in there, go into waiting to call, and I will get to your calls in just a little bit. There's one final thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to try not to get heated about it, to be completely honest, but we're going to talk about it, and then we will go to your calls. I'm putting in the Discord link right into the chat. It's also in the description box. Go ahead and hit it up. All right. Let's talk Tana. Tana Mongeau. Let's talk about it. Everybody knows about the situation by now. Tana went on and a while back called out the one and only iDubbbz for his use of the N-word. And it didn't sit well with Mr. Dubs, who went on kind of a crusade to get revenge. And he did so in the form of a content cop. And he was filming a segment for that content cop where he was going to go to Tana Mongeau's, man, my God, a concert, which is just a meet and greet. Apparently it's called a concert that VIP people pay $200 to meet and greet with her and all this good stuff. I mean, she's fine as hell, but $200, whew. But you know, I digress. There's an ass for every seat, and everybody likes to buy whatever they want to buy, so that's completely fine. So he goes there and he waits in line, and he finally gets a picture with the great Tana, puts his arm around her and says, "Say nigger." And to that, she freaks out. He gets kicked out. She goes then onto YouTube, cuts this ridiculous rambling video about how she's basically scarred for life because somebody aggressively and forcefully wrapped their arm around her, wouldn't let her go, made her scared for her life. She basically claimed assault charges. I mean, my God, it was ridiculous and so over the top and so Tana that we all knew that this was not over. And of course, it wasn't even over that day because Tana would then later say, "Oh, it was iDubbbz after all," and tried to send a whole bunch of hate his way. No hate came because iDubbbz simply gave zero fucks. Why? Because he had the footage. He knew what actually happened, that he did nothing wrong. He simply put his arm around her and tried to say something that she has clearly said before, which has been well established. So no big deal. Benjo says iDubbbz said it was 100. Okay, excuse me. It was 100. I thought it was 200. The original story, it was 200. Excuse me. Oh no. All right. Who gives a shit? Who gives? It's still ridiculous. Still ridiculous. Who gives a shit? And then with all the merchandise that he spent, it was probably close to 200 anyway. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Okay. So still a ridiculous amount of money to meet a YouTuber. I mean, how much would you guys pay to meet me? Like $1, maybe. I wouldn't even pay $1, but it's ridiculous nonetheless. So he goes there and all that stuff happens, and the hate never came because most people once again saw through the bullshit of Tana. And then the content cop came down and just crushed her because it was a different content cop, because you couldn't do just a regular content cop on Tana because we know her content. It's self-indulgent. It's frivolous. It's without really any type of point. It's a whole bunch of just exaggerations. No, he was out for blood for a different way. He definitely had something personal he was trying to accomplish. And you know what? That's why I liked it. That's why I liked this video so much. I thought it was well done. It wasn't his best content comp, but it might have been one of his most effective. But really, like the entire situation, this is all on Tana. Tana made the entire situation worse than it ever needed to be. It certainly didn't need to go to the lengths of which it went. If she would have laughed it off or even just maybe just said it, who the hell knows what would have happened? She could have shoved it right up iDubbbz's poop chute, but that didn't happen because that is not Tana's way. So we knew that as the days passed and the hate piled up and the subscribers fled her channel in the thousands, that an apology video was coming. She even said so by her own admission, and then a fan of hers actually got her on a cell phone and forced her to apologize on his stream, essentially. All of these things happened, and we were just waiting so much, and 2 weeks passed, and we finally get the Tana friggin' apology, which was 22 minutes of self-indulgent bullshit. Let me give you a little synopsis here of this apology video. She makes it 100% about herself, which is the first thing that you never do an apology, because an apology is not about how things made you feel. It's about empathizing and understanding what your actions did to other people. That's why you're apologizing. So to talk at length for 22 minutes about how everything affected you is just disgusting. And an add-on to that is my second point. She broke another gigantic rule that you never do an apology video. She brought up suicide. She brought up how everything affected her so badly that she contemplated suicide, that suicidal thoughts were there and all of that stuff. Even mentioning, even if she doesn't say the words, I was going to kill myself, she doesn't need to say them. Just bringing up the word suicide in the context of that video, which should have never been 22 minutes, 4 minutes max. Get in, get out, take fucking responsibility, and stop. Because if she stops at any point, this thing goes away. If she simply doesn't react, if she simply doesn't do her shtick for once in her fucking life, this goes away. Stop fucking yourself. You're going to get some hatred. You're going to get some type of shit. That's completely fine. But if you don't put your fist through your own face or up your own ass in this case, well, it's going to go away. Because there really isn't a lot there. Who cares? She said some shit in the past, came back to bite her. Okay, she's a kid. She's a kid without any fucking life experience. She thinks she understands the way the world works because she's had some success in a platform of which these type of things can get you very far. That doesn't mean she's a bad person. It doesn't mean she's a racist. It doesn't mean that she's really anything. She's just a kid learning the fucking ropes, man. And I'll tell you, if she just shuts the fuck up, everything would eventually be fine. But instead, she does this fucking 22-minute apology video, which pisses everybody off. It is getting unbelievable amount of dislikes and a whole hell of a lot more unsubscribed. She's pissing off her own fan base. And why do you ask? Well, it probably brings us to our third reason of why this video was one of the worst apology videos of all time. She fucking monetized it. She made it 22 minutes long. Many jump cuts throughout the video. And then she monetized it. She monetized it. You don't monetize an apology video. You don't. You don't make it 22 minutes so you can add extra apologies and extra advertisements onto it. You don't do it. You get in, you get out, you make it clean as possible, and you certainly don't monetize it. There are a lot of things that I feel you shouldn't monetize. People have also talked about in the last couple of weeks the taboo subject of deaths, like Quibblecop. When I always say his name wrong, I don't give a shit. He talked about his father dying and monetized it. And then, of course, people called him out. So he's like, well, I'm giving it all to charity anyway. We have no idea if that was ever his intent, but it's good that he's doing it now. Doesn't really matter. Probably should have never been monetized. Just like this Tana Mongeau friggin' apology should never have been apologized. But, of course, that is just my opinion. And other people will be like, well, fuck it, Dave, got to get that money, got to get them views. Look at you, you're whoring right now to get money, to get views. You're not 100% wrong, but I'm also doing this because this is an interesting subject to me, and I'm on a podcast where we talk about these things, so it's a big part of my life now, so eat a dick. Don't give a shit. I also received some information from a couple people who have seen her apologize in the past. Apparently, a couple years ago, she made an apology video for something very similar, and apparently it was the exact same video. I mean, like, the script was identical. Incredible. So, I don't know, man. She's a kid. She's a kid. And at the end of the day, she's a kid. You know, a lot of these people are kids with a lot of money and a lot of success that a lot of people don't have respect for. YouTube is still in its infancy in a lot of ways. Nobody really knows exactly what it is. Is it radio? Is it television? Is it just a platform where people can make cat videos and animations? What is its true purpose? All of these things, people are trying to figure it out. And the second that it became a money-making platform where people didn't have to pay a monthly fee like I did when I was with Podbean and Podomatic and all of these. In fact, that they would pay you, it kind of changes things because for some people this becomes a job. And with job, there's inherent responsibilities, there's labels, there's definitions. The mainstream media who feels like they have entitlement to and possession of all the power and all of the stroke and all the advertising things that should be theirs, they have a little bit of resentment, and I understand it, towards this platform. So people are still trying to figure out what exactly YouTube is, and you're going to have a whole bunch of young kids who were there at the beginning who has grown these huge amounts of followers, subscribers, and money and influence that don't really know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with it. They didn't live a life. They have no life experiences, and that's okay. I didn't know shit when I was 18. Like, I got onto this platform when I was much older. I had a whole life in the Army, went to Iraq a couple times. I got hurt, the whole shebang-a-bang. It doesn't make me better or worse. It just makes me a little bit more cognizant of the pitfalls that will fuck you up. I have a few things that could fuck me up. I'll deal with them if they ever come up. It is what it is. That's what you do in life. You own it. You move the fuck on. If people who support you want to continue supporting you after these pitfalls happen with like Jacksepticeye, like PewDiePie, like Tana Mongeau, well, then they can. But if they want to leave and abandon ship, well, they can do that too. They don't need to stick with you. You're not entitled to shit. You're not entitled to a goddamn thing. You got a microphone. You got a camera, you can make your content. You can spit it to the best of your fucking ability each and every single day. But the reality is that people get tired of your shtick, if they think you're full of shit, whatever the case may be, or if scandals come out and ruin you, or even if a perception or a false narrative come out and threatens to take you down. Well, you have to decide how you're going to deal with it. Are you going to go on a rambling apology video like Tana and break every rule that you're going to do? Or you simply just say your apologies, try to become better as a fucking human being, and move the fuck on. Those are your choices. And we got people who are making the wrong ones. Is what it is. Hopefully, this will be the last time we have to talk about this stuff because it's sucking me dry, man. And I know it's got to be sucking you dry. Some of you guys, I understand, you want to hear about every little development. And I get that. This is a form of TMZ because the people who are growing up in this, the young people who are been around this entire situation with YouTube growing in, they feel the same type of connection as other people do with the Entertainment Tonight, covering the mainstream stars. It's the same type of connection. It's just a different platform. So I get it. You want to know every time. So I have no problems with anybody who wants to see more of these videos. None at all. None at all. It is what it is. Completely fine. But I gotta be honest, man, this feels like the 90s to me, and I've heard Livin' La Vida Loca one too many times. If I gotta dance the fucking Macarena once more, I might chop off my own foot. You know, it is that type of, I'm tired of it. So hopefully we'll be able to get past this. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about other things, more drama will come up, or just some other cool stories. And we do a lot of things on this channel. So there's a lot of things that pique my interest, and we'll be talking about all kinds of different things. But this is the type of situation that I felt had to be put to rest. So hopefully we accomplished that. And now I want to turn it over to Joe. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. Let's start it off. We're going to Discord. Jump on into Discord, folks, and we're going to start taking some callers. And let's start with the one that is known as Pet. Hopefully he unmutes his microphone, which he just did. You're live with that on Dave. Pet, what you got?
Oh, hey, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
So, I didn't have the time to actually go to your stream. What were you talking about?
Are you fucking... Get the fuck out of here, Pet. I'm going to punch you right in your goddamn face. What the hell's the matter with people? Holy shit. Let's try another caller who hopefully isn't brain fucking dead. Let's go to Super Rising Storm. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
You're lucky I'm not.
I'm glad you're not. Hopefully.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm good. I'm feeling strong. Actually, I feel like shit, but you know what? I'm going to fake it until I make it.
Good to hear.
I got ridiculously obliterated. Did I blow a sword last night on my stream? I think I blew a couple swords last night.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was not good. I got really drunk. It was fucked up. What do you got for me, Supa?
So the whole thing about Jack is like when Keemstar twittered about the whole thing, all of his fans, or most of his fans, were really angry and blamed him for everything.
Sure.
You know, I'm a Jacksepticeye fan myself, and I saw what he did, and I don't blame Keem for it. So
it's not Keem's fault.
Not at all.
Keem's just there. Look, we know who Keem is, and if Keem wants to try, or any of these other type of news guys, scarce, whoever, if they want to try and be all ambivalent that they're these amazing human beings because they're reporting the news and they're trying to get, that's fine. We know mostly that's bullshit. Keem gets off on this. He enjoys this shit. And that's okay. It's okay. I have no problem with the fact that he masturbates to the misery of others. It's what he does, and some people find it very entertainment for it. It's okay. He didn't create this situation. He's simply just he's capitalizing on it. What's the problem?
Yep. It's just ridiculous that no one of those, I say fanboys, are seeing what Jack did wrong. So,
well, that's fanaticism. You know, I mean, people forget, and I bring this up quite often, that fan is short for fanatic. I have no problems with anybody being a fan and simply sticking in their fucking fingers in their ears and going la 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 and not listening to the facts. Because we see it all the time. We see it in sports. We see, you know, you ride or die, man. You stick with your team no matter what. You know, you can criticize them, but if somebody else criticizes them, you might stab somebody in the motherfucking parking lot. I mean, that's how fanaticism works. And that's okay. It does deserve to be criticized and called out, though. And these kids have a massive platform where they can go and send copious amounts of hatred to anybody else who talks about their guy. And that's all right. It's part of the game. It's not all right, but it's part of the game. And I accept that. I know that this video is going to have more dislikes on it than my typical video. And most of the people won't even get to any of the points that I made about Jack. They don't care. The fact that I talked about him even in a perceived negative light will be enough for them to just lambast me. And they're going to nitpick every little thing that I say wrong. If I said anything that was taken out of context, if I say anything that wasn't like worded perfectly, that he said differently in the video, believe me, this comment section will have it after the show. I guarantee you.
Yeah. How dare you to criticize Jack?
Right? How dare
like that?
I know, it's crazy. But it's okay. It's no big deal. What else you got for me, man? You got anything else?
Moving on to Tana. I watched her not the apologizing video, her before that, where she tried to explain why she said the N-word and that. And the first thing I thought about was Hulk Hogan.
Right.
When he did his interview where he tried to explain, he said the exact same things. Oh, it was in my childhood. We said that all the time. Yeah, No, you
Well,
didn't.
the only difference is Hogan is old as fuck, so actually it kind of makes a little more sense that maybe he did. Maybe his peer groups did say that at that time. It was a different time in American culture. It very well
Yeah,
could have
sure.
been. Tana at 13, growing up in Las Vegas, which I grew up in, by the way, she had context. She knew, and she said it with hate. She said it with hate. You
Yeah.
can go back and watch the
Yeah.
videos yourself. There was hate in her voice, hate in her words. It's all right. Own it.
Yeah, I highly doubt that it wasn't on purpose. So
Doesn't even matter. I mean,
she's a hypocrite.
Of course she is, but that's okay too. She's young. She's stupid. She's trying to protect herself. And here's the thing. Kids believe, especially when this is the type of girl who on Twitter posts as herself as a self-described advocate of Black Lives Matter. She has no idea what the fuck she's signing up for. She doesn't know what that means. She just thinks it's a cool way to kind of get her out of trouble. Like it's a card like, hey, I'm an activist for this, so I can basically do what I want, but you can't do what you want. That's what young kids are taught. That's what they're fucking taught, that's acceptable, that they're snowflakes.
Yeah,
and the world
sadly.
is just going to kneel before them. Well, she got fucking smacked in the mouth a little bit, didn't she? She learned a little bit of a lesson. Maybe she didn't learn it, but she certainly got fucking taught one.
Yeah, she had to at some point.
I don't know, by the the look of that apology video, I don't know if she learned a damn thing.
Oh boy.
But we'll see. All right, Super, you got anything else?
Yeah, about the apologize video. Yeah. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I only watched the Leech's speeded up version. And after that, I checked it out. And I was like, yeah, apology, my ass.
Right. It's not an apology. It's really not.
No, not at all.
It's really not. If you want to call it an apology, that's completely fine. It's a justification. It's trying to get herself out of it, which is okay if that's what she wants to do. But again, that is criticizable. So there you go. Thank you, Super Rising Storm. I appreciate your call, buddy. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, take it easy. All right, let's bring in Maul. Kneel before Maul. He's here. He's live with that on Dave. What you got? Maul, are you here?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was live.
Well, you are.
I didn't realize I got dragged up because I was just expecting it.
Okay, well, you're here now, so you're live with that on Dave. Tell me what you got.
Honestly, the whole time, like, what were you talking about before? I just sort of got here.
Are you fucking serious? Well, then why are you calling in? I'm not going to give you a recap of my show. I'm not going to give you a summary. What the hell? Oh, my God. Get out. You're the second person who's done this, by the way. Second person who's done this tonight. Get out of here. Holy shit. I have no idea what's happening, but I thought I'd call in, and hopefully you could tell me everything that you just said for the last half hour, and then I'll react. Go fuck. Eat my balls. All right, Winky's World. You don't have a whole hell of a lot to overshoot here. Hopefully you can do better than what we've seen, even though Super Rising Storm was good, as he usually is. Winky's World is here. You're live with Dead on Dave. Please tell me you have something.
Can you hear me?
Barely, Winky. Barely.
Okay.
Oh, and he died. What the fuck? Okay. Oh, you guys are killing me. All right, let's go to Alexander O'Brien. You're live with that on Dave. Do you got something fucking intelligible at all? Not intelligent, just intelligible. By the way, we got a donation. Rodland donated $5. Boring hat, Dave. I love the show. You know what? You're right. Before we get to this call, you're right. This is a boring hat. Let's fucking change it up. Let's go to the Pumpkin King. That's right, the Pumpkin King. Because it doesn't get I love this hat. I know I've been wearing it a lot, but I fucking love it. All right, Alexander O'Brien, you're live with that on Dave. What you got?
I was just thinking, the PewDiePie Jack situation. I have a feeling that this was a planned event. Either two things could have happened. PewDiePie came to Jack and said, "Will you make a video to try to take some heat off my back?" Or Maker got Jack against the wall and said, "Make a public video or we're going to cut you as well."
The second one makes a hell of a lot more sense than the first. The the first one doesn't make a lot of sense to me because there's no good outcome for that. It doesn't really, nothing helps PewDiePie the situation. Most of the heat was off of him anyway, especially within the community. He's not losing subs. PewDie's gaining subs. He's not worried about that. So I don't know. That doesn't make sense now, but Maker putting a little bit of pressure on Jack could make sense. That's very possible. Maybe he feels an obligation to adhere. I have no idea. Maybe there's something else going on. We'll not know. They'll never admit it anyway, so it's all speculation.
Yeah, and I found it interesting the way that Maker dropped PewDiePie.
Mhm.
Like, I know they kind of had to, but I did find it interesting why they would.
Why?
Because I think they didn't have to drop him. They could have took other measures.
They could have.
I think it was.
But this is actually not a bad thing for PewDiePie. Look, the reality is PewDiePie is 53 million subs plus now. You know, he's up there. The content he's making is not anything that, if it's nothing that Maker wants to be around, well, they did him a favor. He's going to make a hell of a lot more money now. He might even go make his own goddamn network. PewDiePie can do whatever he wants. PewDiePie has go fuck money, where he can basically tell anybody to go fuck. He can do that. So I don't even like, is it a bad business decision by Maker? Absolutely. It's stupid, but it is their prerogative, and I have no issues with them dropping him for whatever reason they want to come up with. It's their shit. It's Disney's owned. They can do what they want. It's a bad move. It's stupid. It's short-sighted, but ultimately it's theirs.
Yeah, and I do think that they will cut more.
Very
people on their
possible. I
brand.
think more is coming. I do think more is coming.
Yeah,
I do. I agree with you.
think.
You got anything else, Alex?
Jacksepticeye. No, that's it.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the call. You have yourself a good night.
Um,
Good stuff. Let's bring in C-Man. Here's a guy who always has something good to say, even if he's just trolling me. C-Man, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
The fact that you started off with me trolling you isn't good, because that's exactly what I was going to do.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling that you were going. I was hooked on a feeling, one could say, that you were here to troll me. But it's okay. What do you got for me?
Well, I was going to say, like, I haven't been listening to the stream, so I wanted you to repeat everything. But you called me out before I got the chance. But even with that, like...
See, but I know that's a lie, because you can't help but listen to me. I'm fairly certain you want to have sex with my mouth or butthole. I'm not sure which, maybe both. I have no idea. I don't know what's in that sick, depraved mind of yours. I have no problems with it. And you know what? Depending on the right type of dinner you buy me, it's on the table. But I know you're listening, so that troll wouldn't have worked anyway. You're infatuated, my friend. You're infatuated.
Excuse me, but every time we're on a call together, it's usually you who brings up any sort of sexual act. So
I don't believe that's true. I believe rap battle. I believe rap battle is a euphemism for butthole sex. I think that every time you ask me to rap battle, it's because you want to put it in my pooper. You want my sweet butthole virginity. It's okay. Just admit it.
So what you're saying is Real Talk should be real scared because I want to, fuck his butt, if that's what rap battle means.
No, I just think that's what it means in context to me. To everybody else, I think you just want to like get your ass kicked in a rap battle. But when you say it to me, I just have a feeling you're licking your lips when you say it. Like I feel it. It's like it's a sixth sense. I know who wants to fuck me, and it's most people. I can't help the way I look. Look at me. I'm fucking beautiful. I'm a
Dave, is it lonely up there on your pedestal?
No, what pedestal, man? What pedestal can hold my big fat ass?
Oh, dude, we are literally probably about the same weight.
Really?
Like, how much are you at right now?
Right now, I'm 285. I'm stuck at 285.
I'm at 270. So we're pretty. How tall are you though?
I'm 5'10".
You don't mind my asking?
5'10".
Okay, I'm at 6 foot, so
hey, you're a little bit
still
bigger.
got
Yeah.
a little leeway.
D-Rock donated $1. Seaman wants to give you his semen. Yeah, maybe he does.
Oh yeah.
Hey, he
why
admitted
does
it.
Tommy...
I got you, motherfucker. I got you. You admitted it.
All right, yeah, you got me. Why doesn't Tommy call his chat the Seamen instead of fucking fuckheads? Like,
Because
I think
that's
Seamen would be so much funnier.
It probably would, but then you would be all like trying to captain it and shit. So don't
No,
know.
I don't even bother trying to call on the Tommy Show. Every time I have, either he can't hear me or I can't hear him, and it's like, okay, I'm just not going to fucking bother anymore.
Right?
I don't know what it is, man, but his Discord always fucks with me.
Oh, his Discord is fucking pure cancer. It's cancer wrapped in Ebola. It's awful. It really is. See, man, you got anything else for me, buddy?
Yeah. What do you think of? I was coming up with some YouTube channel names we were talking earlier.
Sure.
What do you think of the name Chris the Catalyst?
No.
Oh,
No, it doesn't. I don't know, man. No.
But it's
Catalyst.
got alliteration and a rhyme.
It's got alliteration, but it doesn't flow right. It doesn't sound good. Like, welcome to Chris the Catalyst. No, that doesn't. Like Dead on Dave Productions, it just flows. It flows. You got to be able to. It's got to flow. You're a rapper. You got to know this. It's got.
That's why I'm saying Chris the Catalyst sounds good because it has
Really?
alliteration and rhyme in it.
Not all alliteration is good, my friend. Not everything can be prior proper planning prevents positively poor performance. You know, not everything is that. You know.
What about Christian Catalyst?
Ooh, why do I like that more?
Well, Christian's my real first name, but I want to go by Chris more than Christian.
I don't know. It sounds like you have a dilemma there. Jaden Schiffner in the chat says, "Can I get a shout out?" Jaden Schiffner. Yeah, there's your shout out.
Whoa!
All right. I would
Yeah,
love to
Jaden.
continue to talk about your channel name, but I simply don't care that much. C-Man, thank you very
Oh,
much. You
all
have
right.
yourself a good night, buddy.
Yeah, fuck you, man. Take it easy.
See, I knew you want to, motherfucker. Go ahead. Once again, unrequited
Keep it up.
love. It's not.
Keep it up, and I'm going to buy a Germany plane ticket. Come over
There
there.
it is. You fucking sicko. Get out of here, buddy. Take it easy. Good stuff. Let's take another call. Aeon is Master Leafy. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
What? Let me just turn my music off. Hello,
Thank you,
Dave.
sir. Hello. How are you, good kid?
I'm very good. No, you. So you got PewDiePie.
Y'all.
Not the biggest fan of him.
You sound like you're in his demographic. Got a lot. I can't lie.
I think like he shouldn't get into hate. He like deserves a little bit hate, you know.
For what? He not
Yeah.
for this. Not for the. He's not a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. Look, he told some stupid jokes. I tell stupid jokes all the time. I've been calling Tana Mongeau. I've been calling her Tana Mongoloid. And we tell stupid jokes. Just own the joke and move on. That doesn't make you a Nazi. It doesn't make me a guy who hates the handicap. No, jokes are okay. Context does matter. Context matters.
Yeah, it's funny, and you got Jacksepticeye who should defend PewDiePie because he got the biggest shout out on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, he owes his career to PewDiePie, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go down with the ship. If PewDiePie would have like raped a child or murdered somebody or something like that, I wouldn't expect Jacksepticeye to be like, oh, he's okay, he's a good lad. You know, I wouldn't expect him to do that. That's okay to. Sometimes there are situations where you do have to distance yourself from somebody. It doesn't mean you have to throw them under the bus completely, but it doesn't mean that you have to defend them either. This just happened to not be one because there was absolutely no substance to the baseless attacks that the Wall Street Journal perpetrated on PewDiePie. Jack made a mistake. That's it. That's all it is. Made a mistake. You got anything else, young squire?
Hey, can I like shout out something first?
Oh, crap. I have a feeling this is a mistake, but I'm going to do it anyway. Go ahead.
I'm making a podcast. It's called Face Turn Podcast.
Face Turn Podcast. All right. I like that.
It's not the best name. If you want to, like, talk about it, you can DM me and, you know.
No, I probably won't. But hey, I appreciate the offer. You have yourself a good night, man. Take it easy.
Subscribe to Dolan Dark on YouTube.
No, don't. Okay, fine. But subscribe to Dead on Dave first. Holy shit. Okay. We got the Blue Mustang guy who's got my audio turned all the way up in the background. Hopefully he'll turn that down. Looks like he did. Blue Mustang guy, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Okay. Oh yeah. So not like the whole PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye thing.
Mhm.
I have completely no background on them because in my like 3 years of watching stuff on YouTube, I never really was a fan of their kind of content.
Okay.
But I think the only thing that anyone can say is somewhat relatable to this
Sure.
was I would say the beginning part of Leafy and Keemstar when they weren't really talking with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Leafy did a little snippet in one of his videos where he talked about the Keemstar thing slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really remember that well, but it just seems ridiculous. If I was in Jacksepticeye's position, I would have defended PewDiePie, saying he's my friend.
Well, you know,
Which is basically
it's
what everyone else
different. The situations are kind of apples and oranges in a lot of ways. I mean, like Leafy and Grade went after after Keemstar with really nothing other than their own accusations that they made. That was really their own. They had their own gain in mind. The Wall Street Journal, they just went off of something that was already out there. The facts are, PewDiePie did the things that they said that he did, as far as, you know, dressing up the way he did, saying the words that he said, showing the videos that he said. Those, the who, what, where, why, and all that happened. But they put their own spin on it for other reasons. Now, other YouTubers are jumping into the grave and trying to do their own things with it. Jacksepticeye didn't backstab PewDiePie the same way that Keem was backstabbed, but he didn't back his friend either. He wasn't there to support him in his time of need in a situation that clearly warranted it, but it is what it is, man.
Oh, and I have a question for you. Did you watch, because Casey Neistat made a video talking about PewDiePie's response video as well.
I don't know if I saw him talk about the response. I know I can't really listen to Casey. It's hard to look at him because he looks like fucking what's it, Sean Penn from that AIDS movie. It's hard to look at Casey Neistat. It really is, and it's even harder to listen to him most of the time. But no, I didn't watch it. Anything of substance?
I think I made it in like 2 minutes and just left off with him because I respect him. He's a good content creator, or used to be. Well, I'm pretty sure he still is, but I don't want to see. I'm not a fan of him because of his political views, but that's kind of why I don't really like his content.
Sure, fair enough. All right, Blue Mustang guy, you make me want to kill myself a lot of times because you cannot get to a point to save your life. But you know what? I continue to take your call because I believe in you. Okay, one day I believe you will get to the point. I believe it in my heart of hearts. Okay, Blue Mustang, take it easy, buddy.
All right, bye.
I am the meanest person in the world. We got ourselves a little bit of a big YouTuber. If this is the actual VWQ, live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
It is indeed. Hello, how you doing? You
What's
alright?
going on, man? Hey, I absolutely
Yeah.
loved you on Tommy C's channel, man. You killed it. You've been making some good content, man. Thanks for gracing us with your presence. What can I do for you?
It's no problem. I'm enjoying the show. Well, basically, I came into the stream. I was thinking about making a video on the Tana Mongeau apology, but then you sort of seem like you're not so keen on that idea. You think it might be a bit talked about a bit too much.
Well, it's not, no, I think anybody can make the video that they want to make on it. And because there's so much criticizable about it, I totally get it. Me personally, I'm not going to continue to talk about it. This is my last time
right.
referencing
Yeah, I just
her.
wanted to get your perspective on that. Like, is it worth keep talking about, or should we just, all of us, just leave it now?
You know what? I would say for most of us who aren't very good at what we do, that probably we should stop. But you're amazing at being able to find different angles that people haven't already beaten to the ground. So actually, I would be interested to see what you did with that, because like you did with the last situation, you tore it apart. You're very good at that. You with the whole fucking Zaptai situation, the way you were able to break things down in a way that not even Tommy C was doing. You went things at a different angle. So I'd love to see what you did with Tana Mongeau.
Well, Well, I appreciate that. Oh, mate, you've changed my mind twice in the space of an hour, Dave.
Look at me. I am
I don't know what I'm
great
doing anymore.
manipulator.
Am I making the video or am I not?
Certainly don't do things by the whim of a fat guy in a basement. That's the first thing that I can clue you in on.
All right, fair enough, man. That's all I wanted to ask, really.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks a lot. I love your
cheers for
content,
having
man.
me
Make
on.
sure you go check this man out, VWQ, man. He's awesome. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Appreciate that.
Take
Cheers.
it easy. Good stuff, man. That's cool, man. Bigger YouTuber. I like that shit. That's awesome. All right, we're going to go over to Skype now. We've beaten Discord to death. I think we got everybody who wanted to say some shit in Discord. We took care of everybody. So let's go to the Skype. Call in now on Skype, David Vancura, DavidVancura. And of course, the number 702-751-2902. Want to hear from you guys, and then we're going to get up out of here. So let's do it. Chris Cress in the chat says, Dave is only 59 Twitter followers away from being able to go on ProWrestlingTees.com. Yes, very true. Very true. 5,000, I can go on Pro Wrestling Tees. All right, let's take our first call tonight. 347, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
What's up, Dave? It's Isaiah Ruff.
Yeah, I know who it is, cunt. What you got? You fucking troll. You big fucking troll.
Not here to troll. I'm here to talk some
I'm
serious
reading
ish.
what you were doing in the chat, you dickhead. What do you got for me, Isaiah? How awful are you going to be tonight? That's what I want to know.
No, I'm not going to be awful, but I'll be upfront. I think, specifically with the PewDiePie thing, you got to look at his actions like you would look at anything else. Whatever you do something, there's going to be a reaction, and telling people that they cannot, or trying to control people's reactions or how they feel about something, it just doesn't work.
Never.
And that's with anything. You know, whether it's a punch, a kick, spitting on somebody's favorite, going on YouTube and making an ass out of yourself. I mean, people are going to react how they want to react, and I think that it's not wrong or right, you know. I don't think it's wrong or right, but I think that I think putting out I don't want to say racially charged content, because I don't think that's necessarily what he did, but when you're using racism as a form of humor, you have to be able to take the people's responses, whether they're negative or positive, especially if they're negative.
And if that would have been the case, now look, you remember a few weeks back when I first talked about everything that happened with this situation, I basically told PewDiePie to suck it up, Buttercup. You're the top guy. I said what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think 99.9% of the time that is true. But what we cannot have, and this is where it is our responsibility to speak up on these things and support the creator who is being violated against. We cannot have things like the Wall Street Journal trying to paint him as a champion for Nazis. That is wrong. That's the bigger story. The jokes, that's not the story. The trolls that are coming in and formulating their opinion on whether they think he's racist or not, that's an individual opinion, which I am all in favor of. If you watch PewDiePie's videos and you think he's a fucking Nazi, that is your goddamn opinion, and you can express it any way you like. But the people at the Wall Street Journal that have an obligation to be telling who, what, where, when, why, and how, and not much else after that, when they do something completely different and go on a politically charged, and make no mistake, that's what it was, politically and money-motivated charge to make baseless allegations against YouTube's top star, well, that's a whole different problem, and that cannot be stood for.
Well, I mean, that is what the media does in a lot of ways. They use pop culture to push their politically and social agendas. And
well, usually hand in hand with pop culture. Usually, Madonna was on stage talking about wanting to blow up the White House, for Christ's sake. I mean, like, usually pop culture, they're in on the joke. You know, PewDiePie wasn't making a political statement with his jokes. He was making the worst thing, and if you even want to believe that this is what PewDiePie was doing, which I don't even really, I think PewDiePie was just making himself laugh. The very worst was PewDiePie was trying to make light of how ridiculous certain aspects of social media are. The fact that you could pay anybody on $5 to do anything, he found ridiculous. If you believe that, that's perfectly fine. I personally think that he was just acquiescing his own hubris, his own humor. You know, that's completely fine too. It is what it is. You're going to come to your own opinions.
Yeah. I mean, here's what a lot of white people, what you white people have to know. And
Don't-
see, I don't know why you guys haven't
lost
figured it out.
You lost me with that dumbass fucking comment, right, God? What you white people need to know. Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish your comment, and then I'm going to absolutely tear the fuck out of you. Go ahead.
You guys got to know something. When it comes to issues of race, you always must tread softly.
Well, wait a second. Why do we have to tread softly? I thought we have white privilege. I thought we have, the world's supposed to be at our fucking feet, right? I mean, we're white. The hardest thing in the world that is becoming, especially on social media, is a fucking white man aged fucking 20 to 50. You can't have empathy for other white people. You can't fucking have sympathy for black people because you don't understand. If you have sympathy for other white people, you get fucking thrown under the bus and get your ass fucking torn apart. You can't have opinions because any opinion that you have turns you into a racist, misogynist, homophobe, or anything else. Where's the fucking white privilege at? I'm still waiting for it. I'm a fat guy in the basement wearing a fucking J-Cat. Where's my white privilege? I want it. Fuck me. Where is it? Give it to me.
Oh my gosh. Why do you guys always do that every time you say, "Oh, I'm in this situation"? So obviously white privilege doesn't exist.
I want to know.
Actually,
I want to know where my white privilege is, man. I get called out more for being a white male than I do anything else. I get called out more for that than I do for being a fat shit. I get more people writing shit like you just said, what you white people need to learn, than I hear any fucking thing else. And I am one of the least racially charged people that you're going to find on YouTube. What fucking hate shit have I put out there? What the fuck? What do I need to know that I haven't demonstrated that I do know?
You, with those, you have to tread softly with these things. To get those, if you don't care about the reaction that you're going to get and you're going to put out certain content, then it's fine. But if you're going to complain about the action, the response, you complain about other people's reactions and how people feel about them, then you have to understand that you have to tread softly. That's just how it is. If you don't care about people feel, then do whatever the hell you want.
So you're saying the same thing that I say all the time. You have to be able to own it, which again is weird for you to say to me. What you said was, remember, this is your words. What you white people have to understand. You were speaking directly to me when you said that. I say this all the time about owning your shit. If you care, then you have to apologize and you have to be able to accept all the ramifications that are going to come back from your actions. If you don't care, then you don't have to accept shit. You simply have to own the situation and move the fuck on. Those are your options. That's it.
Well, you don't have to apologize. No.
If you don't care what other people, if you care what the people say, you absolutely do. That's why PewDiePie fucking apologized, because he that's why he put that apology into his, which I don't think he needed to do at all. But if you care what people, that you're hurting people, if you legitimately and honestly care that your actions are hurting people, then that's an apology. You have to apologize. You're going to be more obligated to do so.
I think you have to address it. You have to explain yourself, explain what you're doing, and explain what you were thinking and why it's not offensive.
But then we're not talking about the same thing. Because if you're acknowledging that you hurt somebody, then you are obviously knowing that it is offensive. So you're apologizing. If you don't think that it's offensive, then you don't think you hurt anybody, or you don't think that it matters that you hurt anybody. So you don't have to fucking really say anything. Saying anything is only going to get you more fucked up. Best thing most people can do in these situations is shut the fuck up. Move on. Best thing you can do. 99.9%
I agree. That is the best thing. I would.
Did you just agree with me? No.
I've agreed with you before.
You never agree with me. Holy, it's a fucking banner day here. You agreed with me on something. We're going to end on that note, Isaiah. I'm going to get you out of here on that note. Thank you so much for calling in and acknowledging me as the great lord of copiousness that I am. You have yourself a good night, Isaiah.
I think I've done my part in enriching the class, so
yeah, that's
peace
what
out.
you did. Take it easy, buddy. All right, let's bring in Edgar Sierra. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
I don't know about that last guy, but there is definitely white privilege. You get to say, "Hey, Dad," at like the end of the afternoon.
I get to say, hey, I get to say what?
Hey, Dad.
Why does that only white people get to say that?
I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. What about my immigrant fathers?
So,
They're like,
all right, so
fuck your
basically
family."
nobody has a father except white people. Interesting logic. Interesting. I think I have to look into that. I'm not sure that that's true, but hey, you know what? Everyone's entitled to their opinions, Edgar. Holy shit. I've never heard that before.
No, it's a joke I have with my black friend. Like, you see, my black friend doesn't have a dad, and I say, "Oh, here's my Mexican privilege. I get to say, 'Hey, Dad.'"
I don't have a dad either.
And then he says, "Well, my black privilege is I get to say Nick."
Okay, good stuff. Edgar, thank you very much. I'm going to get you out of here because I got a feeling you're
No,
gonna
but
do
I was about to
something
be
bad.
serious.
You got something? Okay, he left. I did not hang up on him. He left. Pet, let's try this again. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Hell yeah. All right. So, Jacksepticeye is innocent. PewDiePie is a bad person, and Tana Mongeau is innocent as well.
Okay, great.
I'm joking now.
Yeah.
I think I want to talk about the Jacksepticeye thing.
Hit me up. What you got?
So, honestly, like, I don't watch Jacksepticeye. I just want to make that clear first off. But I feel like what he said wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Now, how I see it is, what he knew, the fact that he was misled and everything, I don't think it was too bad.
What was he misled about?
You know, the Wall Street Journal and everything.
He wasn't he wasn't misled about shit on the Wall Street Journal. He read the exact same thing that everybody else did, and he says in the video, this is the thing that bothers me. This is what I think most people have a hang up with the Jacksepticeye thing. Because in the video, he talks about at length the allegations against PewDiePie, and in the same breath, he talks about PewDiePie's actions warranting that response. But he also talks about how long he's known PewDiePie and how he doesn't think he's that way. But it kind of negates it when you preface it with the things that he did and not condemning the false narrative that the Wall Street Journal portrayed. You're in essence really just doing you're throwing your guy under the bus. Had he had just come on and addressed it like this, I don't agree with what PewDiePie's jokes were. I thought they were stupid jokes. They absolutely made no sense. But I've known this man for 4 years. He gave me my career. He's been a good friend of mine. And I've talked to him at length about all these things many, many times. And I could tell you this unequivocally, that he is not a racist. The Wall Street Journal is completely off base for everything that they said as far as calling him a Nazi. It's wrong. It's unfounded. And the Wall Street Journal should be ashamed of themselves for doing it. That being said, PewDiePie probably should not have made those jokes. The end. We're not having this conversation if he does that.
Now, I have a question. Do you think that he should have even made the video in the first place, like, about the situation?
No. Why did he make... That's the biggest thing I'm trying to figure out. Why did he make the video? What was the point? What was he possibly going to gain? Unless he was trying to distance himself from PewDiePie, which he didn't even do a good job of doing. And then he ended up walking it back the next day. So I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
I think the only reason he might have done it is the fact that a lot of people were targeting PewDiePie over this situation, right? And since Jack is friends with PewDiePie, maybe he felt like for his sake to jump in so he doesn't happen to get hate as well.
But everybody in the YouTube community was supporting PewDiePie. That's the thing. We were all fairly united. There wasn't a lot of people who were taking the Wall Street Journal's approach, man. I mean, most people could see that this is ridiculous. Now, the only other argument that there was whether or not that the jokes are appropriate. Well, okay, jokes can be appropriate or they're fucked up. It doesn't make you a racist. It doesn't make you a Nazi. It doesn't. It's two different conversations that people are trying to lump into one. And I think that's where it gets jumbled. It's really hard but you have to differentiate these two things. You have to be able to take the jokes and whether or not they're appropriate, and you have to separate that argument from the situation with the Wall Street Journal painting the top guy on YouTube, not people who have actually said far more racist shit than PewDiePie, but the top guy for things that just don't add up to him being an actual fucking anti-Semitic person. That's the problem. And you got to be able to separate those things and look at them both. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. Pet, I appreciate it. I'm going to try to get to a couple more calls, and I'm going to get up out of here, all right? You have yourself a good
All
night.
right, man. Take care.
Take it easy, buddy. Appreciate the call. We are going to take a few more calls right here live on Skype. David Vancura, DavidVancura. And, of course, that number, 702-751-2902. And then we're done. We're out. We're outie 5,000, folks. So let's take another one. 817. You're live with that on Dave. What you got?
Hello, David.
What's up, man?
So the whole thing with Jacksepticeye, he wasn't really wrong with a lot of the shit that he said. He did say that if you're going to make an inappropriate joke, be prepared to feel the burn.
Sure.
Right? So he made some Nazi jokes. I'm sure he was more than prepared to feel the fucking burn, should any backlash come towards him. The rest of the shit, you and I have both been in the military. As a matter of fact, I think you might have joined 1 year before I did. And I don't think that you can tell me any instance where you've ever been able to dictate to the employer, the U.S. Army, or fucking Walmart, or whoever it is that you work for, how they're going to spend their money. If they decide that they want to pull all of their money for whatever it is that they've invested in with you in,
yeah,
then that's on them.
Sure.
And I
actually agree with Jack on that. I think that's not the problem that I had. And I don't think that's a problem that a lot of people had with Jack. The biggest problem that I think that people had with Jack, and my biggest problem with it, is the fact that he did not speak out against the false narrative portrayed by the Wall Street Journal. That's my biggest problem. That's your boy. You've known him for years. Then why aren't you stopping that bullshit? And when you don't, it can certainly be taken as a backstab. Because why make the video? Why make the video?
Because he's made inappropriate jokes, I guess.
Well, so is Jack. So is Jack, though. That's the thing. Jack has too. Jack has made Nazi jokes, not just racist jokes, but the exact same subject. I was talking about. He's made the jokes with PewDiePie in the past. So, but he doesn't really acknowledge that. And I think that you kind of, if you're going to make, I don't get it. I just don't know the point of making that video. I just don't.
Well, he did kind of cover it whenever he said, if you're going to make that joke, be prepared to feel the backlash if anybody decides that what you said was inappropriate.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened with PewDiePie. And he pointed that out. And so what he said was kind of shitty. Backstab? Nah, man.
The only problem with that is that that's not exactly what happened with PewDiePie. Yes, he had the backlash with the people, but he wasn't losing subs over this situation. That's not the biggest. The biggest aspect of this, once again, it's not the jokes. The jokes are the smallest part of this situation, at least to me, the least important.
Right.
The biggest part of this situation is a mainstream media outlet taking those jokes, reporting them as facts and evidence that the top guy on YouTube is a Nazi. That's a problem because they're taking a slanted opinion and they're trying to ruin a motherfucker's career over it, and went to his employers with that information and affected people outside of just PewDiePie. That show, second season, which Jack was affiliated with, second season of Scare PewDiePie, there was 100 people working on that thing, and they all lost their fucking jobs because of this. That's important to me. That matters to me, and that's what I'm talking about. I don't give a fuck about those jokes. That is on you as a consumer, whether you think those jokes were appropriate or not. I don't give a shit. The bigger instance is the Wall Street Journal and what they did. That's my problem.
You're 100% correct. However, I'm failing to see the difference between what the Wall Street Journal is doing and what the majority of the critical community is doing. Like, not so much you, but that shitbag Alex. I hate that motherfucker. He always puts his spin on it, on how he's such a good person, and it's such a shitbag. A lot of people in the critical community do that. He's just the first one off the top of my head.
You're now it's my turn to say it to you. You're 100% right. There is no difference except for this scope. scope of power. It's
right.
We're in the community and we're all jockeying for position. Where people are coming to us specifically for our opinions. When you're going to a newspaper, most of the time you're not going for the slant. You're going for the information. You know, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. At least that's what journalism's supposed to be. Now, people will come back to a certain publication or a show because it tends to garner to their beliefs a little bit more than, let's say, I mean, people are going to subscribe to MSNBC more than Fox News if they lean a certain way. I get that. That's just how it works. But those are no longer unbiased fucking journalistic fucking entities. They're very clearly slanted. And that's part of the problem. Now, when those entities come over into our landscape and try to dictate who's getting taken down and who's not, there's a much different problem. They have no skin in the game other than trying to protect their own fucking power in the mainstream media. Us, we're all a bunch of douchebags jockeying for position, so we're going to call out our own. And most of the time, we'll have each other on our shows and we'll bullshit with each other and typically try to get the entire story told. It's the same, but the scope is different, if that makes any sense, or it could just be bullshit.
No, it makes sense. I got it. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't watch YouTube, that aren't YouTube savvy, that do watch these news channels. So it does bring in a whole new spectrum of people. Yeah. But it kind of seems like what you're getting at is that it's okay when the YouTube community does it because everybody's homies, but it's not okay when mainstream media does it because they're only out to get money.
I'm not even going to say that it's okay when we do it, because we are just as open to criticism for doing it as anyone else. I am not going to sit here and say that it's okay for Keem to do what he does. I'm going to say this: if you are entertained by what Keem is doing, I have no problem with what they're doing. None. I have no problem with it. I have my opinions on certain people. Each person, if it's entertaining to me, I'm a little bit more accepting of it. If I think that they cross the line, I'm going to call you out regardless if I think that it's entertaining or not. But no, I don't know if it's okay. It's an individual preference. I just think that when you have a corporation that is trying to take down the top guy on YouTube for no other reason, if there was actual validity to it, then I'd be okay. If PewDiePie raped a child and the Wall Street Journal wants to report on that crime, fucking do it. Let's do that shit. That makes sense. But this is not real. He's not a racist. He's not a Nazi. There's nothing to support that. So that's my problem.
But anywhere,
it's all situational.
Anywhere someone can get their foot in the door and try to take a rock from the dead king's crown, they're going to try to do it. They did it with Kingsfire.
Sure.
I think they slightly, on a much lesser scale, tried to do that with Tommy a little bit for a short while there.
Yeah.
It's just people trying to take rocks from the dead king's crown. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything more than that. But,
I really appreciate your call, man. You did a great job and got me thinking there. That was a good call, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. One more thing about the Tana thing. I don't like her. I don't approve of her. I think she's a dumb bitch. But I do think that saying because she's dropped a few N-bombs in her past, that she's not able to self-reflect is kind of ridiculous, because when I was younger, I dropped an N-bomb. I went to school where I was like one of the only 3 white kids there. I had no clue what it meant, just knew that it was something that pissed people off. And then I learned very quickly that day what it meant. Now, an appropriate one.
If she was being self-reflective, then I think that would have been completely acceptable. And yeah, you could do that. But that's not what she did in that 22-minute pandering, fucking self-indulgent suckfest that she actually titled an apology. If you're going to entitle something an apology, well, then don't you got to apologize?
Yeah, I can't really speak too much on behalf of that video. I watched like maybe 2 minutes of it and just whatever. But thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem, man. Great call. I appreciate that. You have a good night.
Hey, take it easy, bud.
Good shit. PVS Sweetie Pie earlier in the chat, he says, Dave, you can't tell me that you actually care about this. Well, I mean, I care about it because there is importance to this. There is importance to my future, your future, anyone who creates, to be able to come on and talk about the things that we want to talk about. That is important. So no, I disagree. I think it is important. Do I care about their content? No. I don't watch PewDiePie. I don't watch Jacksepticeye. I don't watch any of that shit. It's not for me. My daughter does. She not PewDiePie anymore. She watches Markiplier. She loves Markiplier. She likes Jacksepticeye too. So let's take some more callers. Let's bring in my copious graphics master, the one and only Guncannon, live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
I like Master better because I don't want to take that away from Sal, because that's his shit.
Well, no, he's the
I like
guru.
that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he could be the guru. I'm good with that.
Well, I think he's dead though. That's the problem. I'm pretty sure he's dead. I haven't heard from him in almost like 6 months. He's dead. I don't know what to say.
Sal, if you've been following up, please contact us. We're scared. We're gonna start.
Right.
We're gonna start putting your face on milk cartons. If not, we're just gonna cut out whatever it was that you put for your logo and put that there and ask if people have seen you.
Tweet 2 winky faces if you're alive. I don't know. Fuck, my God. What's up, Gun? What do you got for me, buddy?
Well, I've went back and I watched the whole Jacksepticeye thing a couple times, and I've been looking at that, looking at the timelines and everything as far as to when everything was happening. And I kind of wonder. He started off his video by saying he's not good at talking about anything like that. He tends to kind of stick towards his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes.
Gun, you're breaking up on me, buddy. Gunny, I can't hear you. It broke up on me. I didn't hear any of that.
How about now?
You're good now. Go ahead.
Okay. I wonder if he just flubbed that because he couldn't figure out how he wanted to say things, and if he was shooting from the hip, because it sounds like he's just kind of shooting from the hip on it. And I mean, that could be, but the way he came off, a lot of the things he said were they were definitely cringe. And he should have said a lot more towards, PewDiePie.
I think he could have helped the entire situation a little bit more by, I don't know, maybe, not kind of advocating what the fucking Wall Street Journal did was okay. That's what a lot of people took from the video. Whether or not that was intention doesn't matter. It really, that's how it came off. People are coming away from that video. You fucked your friend, and I think it's a fair criticism. That's the thing. If he's not good at explaining things, again, then why do the video? I still have a problem with that. It's like, why do it? What's the point of doing it? But I don't know.
I feel like he may have had to, because, I mean, if you look at when things started to happen, first PewDiePie came out. Well, think about this. First, PewDiePie came out with his response. Like a day or two later, Markiplier did his response and then caught a lot of heat for not being like,
because it's not a good response.
Markiplier's response was, as far as to the PewDiePie situation, was short, but he was trying to centralize more on a generalized, generalized thing.
Like this Markiplier's video, and the reason why I haven't even brought up Markiplier's video is because I know who Markiplier is, man. He's a platitude-speaking guy with a golden fucking voice. As much as I love KolossalisCrazy, Markiplier has the best voice on YouTube.
He has the game show voice from hell.
It's amazing. His voice is incredible. But this is the basis of his video. It was however long it was, basically him stating over and over, treat others how you want to be treated. It was platitude after platitude after platitude. There was no substance to it. He said a whole bunch of things that everybody should already fucking know, instead of defending your boy. If you're speaking so much about respect, why not make the fucking topic of the video what the topic of the video really should have been about, instead of dancing around it? Why did he do it that way? Because he didn't want to get caught in the crossfire, because he wasn't sure where the fucking coin was going to land, on what side the coin was going to land. The reality is, it ended up going very well for PewDiePie. He's not losing subs. Everybody is being fairly supportive of him, but the people who are getting the backlash are his friends who didn't come off as strong in support of him in this situation as they probably should have. I think that both of them, I think anybody who wants to say, I think his jokes are stupid, could have completely said that and been okay, as long as they also said, but Wall Street
That's
Journal
my
is fucking
opinion.
retarded for trying to make him out to be a racist and a Nazi.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's a different thing altogether. It's two separate arguments. It's two separate topics. We could talk about the appropriateness of jokes and whether jokes should be tolerated. That is one thing. But to then talk about trying to take somebody down based off of a false fucking opinion based off those jokes and try to end someone's career, that is something completely different. And that's what Markiplier and Jacksepticeye should have spoken to, that they both failed to do. And that's why I think they're getting hate, and I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, I think, well, Markiplier's not getting as much because he didn't flub the words as absolutely horrible as Jack did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with the fact that, if they had just come out and said, the jokes weren't good, but went after, places, companies like I'm not even really going to call it journalism at this point.
Right.
I'm going to call them the opinion articles, the opinionated articles of the Wall Street Journal. I think it would have gone a lot better for both of them, but they didn't do that. Where they didn't do that to the amount that they should have, and yeah.
Well, it just simply didn't come off that way that they did it at all. I mean, most people, not all people, most people who watched the videos simply didn't get the impression that they were backing PewDiePie. And I think definitely Jack more than Mark. Markiplier is one thing, but Jacksepticeye, he cited his friendship with PewDiePie on multiple occasions throughout that video. And it just didn't feel like that there was a real friendship there. It felt that video felt more like he was distancing himself from Felix just in case the worst happened. That's what it felt like, and I think that's why he's catching shit.
Yeah. And he'll probably catch shit for a while too.
Sure.
So at this point, it's deserved.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. I don't even know if it's deserved anymore. If they just stop and just go away, it'll be completely fucking fine. Just stop. There's no point in continuing. There is no point in making another video. That's the one thing I did read that Jack said, I'm not going to be making another video because I think I'll just muddle it up even more. Yeah, he's right. He would. Just sometimes it is okay to stop. And you know what? If most people would do that right from the jump, it'd make life a hell of a lot easier. But what are you going to do? Gun, you got anything else for me, buddy?
Nope. Just Tana Mongeau's 20 minutes felt more like I wanted to put a gun in my mouth.
I actually did put a gun in my mouth a couple of times. Luckily, I never pulled the trigger. Guncannon, I appreciate you, my friend, not only for your call, but all the wonderful graphics that you make for me. Go ahead and tell the kids where they can find you if they want some wonderful graphics made by you.
Well, you can tweet me at Guncannon15, or you can email me at irongraphics1982@gmail.com.
There you go. Thank you so much, Gunny. You have yourself a good night, Pally boy.
You too.
Take it easy. That's going to do it. That's going to do it for this show. We're done. I think we're finito. We're finished. We're out of here. There's really not much more to say. We've hit it all. We've had a good time. We got a lot of stuff happening. I'm not going to do the Raw review tonight. I'm tired. I need to get some sleep. So no Raw review tonight. Hope you guys are okay with that. I'll do it in the morning. Tommy C's going to be coming over tomorrow so he can test his microphone and shit. He's going to stick his mic in my slot. So that'll be fun. So I'm not going to do Raw tonight. Not because of that, mainly because I'm tired and I need to get some rest. So check out everything that's going on within the channel. Check out everybody in the community. Real Talk Metaphor Messiah. Jeff the Huff Huffman, my good friend and partner, Andre Corbeil. If you love the wrestling, he's the best in the business. Go check him out. He's doing his thing. And so many others, man. Tommy C's SFTP, of course. Later on in the week, we're going to be doing Nerd and the Jerk, man. I'm so excited. We're going to go 90s nostalgia like you wouldn't fucking believe on Friday, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. Oh, my God. It's going to be fucking fantastic. All I'm going to say is, we run, we jump, we sing and play. We row and go on trips. But the thing that lasts forever are our dear friendships. That's all I'm going to say, man. And then you can take wherever you think we're going with it from there. Friday, cannot miss it if you love the nostalgia. Friday is going to be your show on Nerd and the Jerk. Cannot wait for that. Thank you guys very much. We will see you next time right here on Dead on Day Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Keep it copious, folks. And peace. And make sure that if you like wrestling and you like monthly subscription boxes, you head on over to WrestleCrate.co.uk and get your first WrestleCrate 10% off if you use promo code DeadOnDay.